You want to make a strong first impression, because if 50% of candidates are getting rejected just based on what their LinkedIn profiles look like, what they say and don't say, you want to make sure that yours says the right things so that you're not in that 50%. Today, we're talking about the mistakes that you're making on LinkedIn that are costing you interviews and offers. And the first thing I want to do is I want to look at some of the research. What is the research saying about optimizing your LinkedIn profile? LinkedIn actually did some research themselves. So per LinkedIn, people who tailor their LinkedIn profiles to the jobs and the careers that they are pursuing, they are first 40% more likely to get pinged by recruiters. And we all know I love that, because I'm all about not applying for jobs online and attracting recruiters to you. So the people who tailor, they're 40% more likely to get pinged by recruiters. They're also 35% more likely to get job offers. And we definitely want to be in that 35%. What else does the research say? The research also says that JobVite, they did a survey, and they found that 92% of recruiters are using LinkedIn to find talent. 92%. That means everybody. That means every job that you are being considered for, that someone is in conversation with you about, they found you on LinkedIn, or they at least went and checked you out. And then another piece of research found that 50% of recruiters will reject candidates if their LinkedIn profile is not up to date and if it does not match their resume. This is huge. That means that first, recruiters are coming to LinkedIn first before anywhere else. And then secondly, if you don't pass the sniff test on LinkedIn, they're likely not going to move forward with you. Even if they got your resume in the online portal, even if you were recommended by somebody, if you don't pass the smell test on LinkedIn, they're probably going to move on to other candidates. And so I want you guys to let me know in the comments which one of these stats surprised you the most. Which one of these is going to help you move forward so that you can go ahead and do what you need to do with your career. The 40% who are more likely to get pinged by recruiters, the 35% who are more likely to get offers, the 92% of recruiters that use LinkedIn, or the 50% of candidates that get rejected when their LinkedIn profiles do not match. Go ahead and let me know in the comments which one of those surprised you the most, and we'll get a little bit deeper into that later. So the research is telling us that we should do it, that we need to do it. But why do we want to do it? We want to do it also to be found on LinkedIn, right? We want recruiters to be attracted to us, to find us. We want to show that we meet the qualifications. We want to show that we have the necessary experience. We want to show we want to make a strong first impression. Because if 50% of candidates are getting rejected just based on what their LinkedIn profiles look like, what they say and don't say, you want to make sure that yours says the right things so that you're not in that 50%. Yes, I mean, this is huge. That means that, there's a 1 in 2 chance that if a recruiter lands on your profile, that they may exit right away based on what you have there. So all that data is showing you that you absolutely have to have the right things on your profile. So let's go ahead and get into some of the mistakes that you're making. One of the biggest mistakes that I see on LinkedIn is that, and what could be wrong with your profile it may be delaying you seeing the progress that you want to see, is that your headline is super basic. And so what I mean by super basic headline is it doesn't say anything. It's giving facts instead of benefits. So facts about you are, that you have an MBA, or that you work at insert company, or, the facts that they can find somewhere else on the profile. Because the reality is that when people read your headline, they're looking for the benefits to clicking into your profile, to reading further, to getting to know more about you. So your profile should be benefit centric, right? What is an employer going to get from bringing you on their team? What is an employer going to get from interviewing you, hiring you? Why should they even read further into your profile? And so an example of that, I'll actually use myself as an example. Back in 2020, I think. Yeah, late 2020, when I really just first put myself out there as a career coach. My headline was basic. I knew what to do with my headline as an employee, but now that I moved into a coach, I kind of fell into the same pitfall that a lot of job seekers fall into when they want to pivot roles. And so I wish I had a screenshot. I'm going to have to find it. But I think it just said STEM career coach or something like that. It was very basic. It didn't give people any reason to look further into my profile, to see who I was. It didn't talk about who I helped. It didn't talk about what I even cared about. How was I different from other career coaches? Now, my profile, my headline is super, super clear, right? You go to my page, right next to my name, it says, I help STEM professionals cure career stagnation. So there you go. That's just the first sentence. So if you're a STEM professional, you're like, okay, tell me more. If you feel stagnated in your career, you're like, okay, tell me a little bit more. Then I say, by pivoting into new roles and elevating their careers. If you want to pivot into a new role, maybe I should follow her. If you want to elevate in your career, maybe she has some things that can help me do that. And then I go into talking about without applying for hundreds of jobs online, without getting unnecessary education, and without getting random certifications. And so if you have, thought to yourself, I want to pivot my career and I want to elevate, and maybe I need to get a new certification, or maybe I need to get a master's degree, or maybe I need to just apply for 500 jobs until somebody takes notice of me. It's very, very clear that, hey, Gerrie is talking about this subject and I need to tune into her to see, maybe she can help me solve this problem. She might have the answer in some of her content somewhere and she's giving it out for free. Or, I might be able to hire her as a coach to help me one-on-one with this issue. So you see how that's very, very specific, right? And it really helps people make their own decisions about whether or not they want to know more about you. You should be doing the exact same thing as a job seeker, as a professional on LinkedIn. People should be able to see and understand what the benefits are to connecting with you, what the benefits are to sending you a DM. So drop a 2 in the chat if that's speaking to you, if you needed to hear that your headline has to be anything but basic. It has to talk about all the benefits about you, less facts, because they can see the facts somewhere else. And we're going to get down to that. So the first mistake is having a basic headline. The second mistake is having a blank or very sparse about me section. And so I like to look at this section. It's kind of like a cover letter, right? And people, I know what people are saying. Cover letters are dead. And so it's not, literally a cover letter, but my version of a cover letter is kind of telling people a story, getting them drawn in, locked into you. So what can you say that's conversational? What can you say that kind of walks a person, piques their interest and walks them through who you are, what you do, and how you add value? Those are the three things that you have to convey, that a person has to be super clear about before they will move forward with you. Who you are, what you do, and how you add value. If you can use your About Me section to explain that to someone, in a couple of paragraphs, that is the most valuable, way to use that section. And I was thinking today, another idea is kind of like a blog post almost, right? You're not dragging it out, going on and on, but it's almost like this informal kind of blog post area where you can really get to show who you are, because your resume can be very sterile, and even the rest of your LinkedIn profile can be very sterile. It can sometimes be hard to show your personality, but the About Me section is definitely where you should be doing that. And a tip that I have about how to write the About Me section, because I know what you're saying, I don't want to write a cover letter, I don't want to write a blog post. Everybody's talking about ChatGPT. I'm a huge fan. But you can go create you an account with ChatGPT, go in, say, hey, Chat, I want to create a cover letter. Here's my experience. Here are the jobs that I'm trying to get into. Here are the things that I want to highlight about myself. You have to tell them exactly what you want to, the vibe that you're trying to give. You can even tell them, I want to do it in a cheerful voice. I want to do it in a serious tone. I want to do it in a playful tone. And ChatGPT will at least give you an idea of what to start. I'm not saying that you're going to take what they spit out and use it, word for word, but it can help with writer's block, right? If you're just staring at a blank About Me section, you're like, I don't even know where to start. Find some of the key things that you want to convey to someone about who you are, what you do, and how you add value. Throw it into ChatGPT, see what it spits out. I'm going to try this in the chat if you're going to try that. I mean, it's just super easy, a way to get started, a way to help with writer's block, a way to stop looking at a blank screen, right? So I think that's a great idea. If you're not sure if your About Me section is, getting people's attention, throw it in the ChatGPT, see what comes back, and then edit it and tailor it, to meet your needs. But I think that may help you have more, especially if you struggle with persuasive writing and how do I not be so boring when I write? It's a great idea. And we're talking about the mistakes that you're making on LinkedIn that are costing you interviews and offers. The first one is having a basic headline. The second is having a blank About Me section. And the third and final one for today is that your experience and your skill sections don't contain the right keywords. And so what that means is that if your experience and skill sections don't contain the keywords, they don't contain the words that people in your field are looking for when they're looking for talent, then you're not coming up in the LinkedIn search. And that means you're pretty much wasting your time here as a job seeker, because that is the whole point, right? People aren't just scouring, profiles for days and days. They're going to the LinkedIn search feature. They're saying, give me people who have this education, who have, this skill, who have this experience, right? They're taking keywords that exist in the job descriptions that they have, and they're plugging it right into LinkedIn, and they're saying, give me everybody. And they might even be drilling down to location. They might be, they can, almost every section in your LinkedIn profile is being searched. And so if if you're shy, or, you call yourself humble and you don't really want to put a lot on your LinkedIn profile, you're only doing yourself a disservice, because when there's nothing on your LinkedIn profile, no one's ever going to find you. And you are solely relying on, your ability to comment on people's posts, or, find your own connections, or, people that you already know, putting you out there and helping you get where you want to go. You need to be using LinkedIn. It should be working for you, right? We are all on this app, boosting their numbers. I think it's something like 80 million people or something on LinkedIn. And so LinkedIn is using that for their own benefit, right? They're getting advertisers, and they're making revenue from the fact that they have a lot of users. As a user, you need to be getting your benefit from LinkedIn. You need to be making sure that the people who are looking for you can find you. So those are the three things, the three common mistakes that you can be making on LinkedIn that's really costing you. I want you guys to go ahead and drop any other comments. I didn't do an exhaustive, LinkedIn profile review because I've done it in the past, and you can go to my YouTube channel to find. I have a whole playlist on LinkedIn, how to optimize your LinkedIn. But go ahead and drop your questions, because if there are any questions today, I will go ahead and answer those. And while you guys do that, I always tell you guys every week that if you'd like my help with optimizing your LinkedIn profile, making sure you're not making those mistakes, making sure you have everything on your profile that will help you align with the career that you really, really want, go ahead and drop "I need this" in the chat. And I'll send you a link later on. So later on today, somebody from my team will send you a link so that we can go ahead and get started optimizing your profile. And I love this option because I realize that, I offer one-on-one coaching, and everybody, can't afford that, nor do they have the time to go through, several weeks of coaching calls and, the time commitment and the homework. But this LinkedIn profile optimization package, where I help you rebrand yourself on LinkedIn, it's quick, it's fast, it's easy, and you immediately start seeing results, right? You can immediately start seeing your inbound traffic increase, and you can immediately start to see that you're making the right connections and that LinkedIn is actually bearing fruit for you. One more stat that I think I'm going to go look up. I'm going to look up how much time are people spending on LinkedIn, because I know some job seekers, they are, spending hours and hours and hours like on LinkedIn, and we got to make a better use of our time. So, having an optimized profile, making sure it has everything that you need right then and there, you already know you'll skip a lot of steps, save yourself a lot of heartache. Let me know if there are any other questions today about anything about LinkedIn, because I've used LinkedIn for both. I've used it as an employee. It's actually the only way I found jobs. I found one job outside of LinkedIn, and that was when I was graduating from college, and that was at a career fair because they came to my school. Outside of that, every single job I've ever had, I found from LinkedIn. And I can also say every single client I've ever had as a career coach has come from LinkedIn. So I am a bit of a LinkedIn fan. If you're new here, my name is Gerrie. I help STEM professionals cure career stagnation by pivoting into new roles and elevating their careers without new certifications, without unnecessary education, and without applying for hundreds of jobs online. Remember, three mistakes that you're making that are costing you interviews and offers: having a basic headline, having a blank "About Me" section, and not having the keywords stuffed into your experience and skill sections. And so if you guys do that, I know you will see great success. So see you guys next week. Bye.